Hi there, Karen Flaherty from Living by Human Design. Hope you're doing well today. Today we're going to be talking about the gate 35, which is the gate of change or progress, and that's in today's human design weather. So this one is in gate 35, the gate of progress or change. It started actually very late today, June 1st, and it goes until June 7th. And the Earth is in gate 5, which is rhythms and patterns. So we got the 35 off the side of the throat, and it connects up to the 36, which is in Uranus here, and we've got the gate 5 coming off the top of the sacral. So if you've got, for example, the 15, it will connect up, and if you aren't usually a sacral being, then you would become a sacral being this week, for example. But the 35 is connecting up to the 36 in the transits, and that's creating an entire channel that is in addition to the one from the Ajna to the throat. So we've got the Ajna to the throat defined by the 4323, the gate, the channel of structuring. And then we've also got the 3536, which is the channel of transitoriness. It's all about change. And that's going to make everybody emotional, or at least feel like they're emotional somewhat this week. So that's what you'll want to watch out for. Also, Mercury retrograde is ending tomorrow, June 2nd. And Mercury and Pluto are retrograde right now. And then when Mercury goes direct on June 2nd, Saturn then goes retrograde. So then we'll have Saturn and Pluto retrograde going forward. So, but this chart or these transits will be in effect all week, or at least, from now until the 7th. And then, and that, as I said, will define the Ajna, the throat, and the solar plexus. So if you're not usually emotional, then you might just want to be aware that you might feel more emotional this week than usual. So this 35 or progress is also called change in the original I Ching. So by design, progress cannot exist in a vacuum and is dependent on interaction, right? So it's change in the world, change in and it can be your outer world, but it also can be your inner world. In IHDS, the incarnation crosses this week are the cross of consciousness, experience, and separation. And then in the gate 5, we've got the gate of rhythm or patterns. It's the waiting or fixed patterns in the original I Ching. These are the fundamental attunement to natural rhythms. So it's waiting as an active state of awareness and being in those rhythms that most likely will affect your eating and sleeping and exercise patterns. Those are the most common patterns that people fall into, but it can be anything. It can be reading the paper in the morning, or of course, checking your phone, but it can be your usual, if you have a commute to work, it can be your commute. It can be your work patterns. It can be how you work, whether it's remote or in the office. It can be any of those things if you have this gate 5 in your chart. And the gene keys, impatience is the shadow, patience is the gift, and timelessness is the CD. When we talk about the gene key here, for the gene key 35, this graphic has quote from Richard Rudd: adventure isn't necessarily about doing new things. It's about doing the things we already do in a new way with a new kind of openness and awareness. And that's talking about the adventure of the gene key 35. But what Richard was saying in the book is that the change can be about outer experiences. It can be about people. It can be about places and careers and things like that. But it can also be change on an inward level or inward capacity. You're basically, we're hungering. The shadow here is hunger, because we're hungering for change. We're wanting change. We always think that there's something more, better, newer, right? And in fact, one quote in this chapter of his book, he says, in fact, he says, we're so much about change that he had the quote, we don't know what we want, but we want it now, right? We don't know exactly what's going on. We don't know exactly how we're going to get there. We don't know exactly what it is, but we want it now. And there's this urgency about this kind of change in our lives. And it's really what has propelled the evolution of mankind throughout the centuries. And it's a good thing. want the change, to want to improve, to change and make things better, and really change things up. It's almost change for the sake of change's sake. It's not always to make things better necessarily. Newer, maybe, more technologically advanced, more convenient, more efficient, things like that, but not necessarily better. And, in fact, he argues that the changes are occurring too quickly on the outside, too quickly technologically, too quickly for climate change and financial resources and things like that, and not so much happening on the inside. So, of course, human design is about making the changes on the inside, right? Living by your strategy and authority, and then making the changes on the outside. So it kind of fits in there. The gift here is adventure, and the CD is boundlessness. And actually, I didn't put in, but the repressive nature here would be boredom, and the reactive nature would be manic, or some kind of manic activity in your life. So he also says the secret of the 35th gene key: the easiest and quickest way to change your life for the better is to give your love unconditionally in as many areas of your life as you dare. And that takes a lot of courage. But it's also great in terms of adventure, in terms of finding what you really want and how to get there. And this gene key is really is also called, just so you know, it's also called the jack of all trades. So people with this 35 in their either conscious sun or somewhere in their chart are not ones to sit around and wait for things to happen. They usually are out there, getting things done and trying new things and then moving on to the next thing. But they become, at least a pretty good practitioner of whatever it is they tried, and then they move on to the next thing. So they're not usually considered experts in their fields with at least many of the things they try, but they can do lots and lots of things. The jack of all trades is something that I mention to clients all the time, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's me." So when they have it in their chart, so and the pairing of the gene key 35 with the gene key 5 is what creates almost a feedback loop of hunger for change and impatience, right? So you can imagine how wanting the change and then being impatient about it, and wanting the change and being impatient about it, can be this, kind of ongoing hamster wheel of activity that just keeps us going and being busy without necessarily achieving what we want to achieve. So, but, on the other hand, the gift is adventure and the CD is boundlessness. So again, we've got a number of personalities this week with the Sun Gate 35, and Russell Brand is one of them. We'll be talking about him in a second. We've also got Angelina Jolie, Anderson Cooper, Prince. So a lot of very big personalities, I would say, like a Iggy Azalea, Josephine Baker from the Harlem Renaissance, John Maynard Keynes, the economist, Thomas Hardy, Allen Ginsberg, the social activist, Richard Scarry, the children's book writer, Anna Kournikova, tennis player, Bjorn Borg, tennis player, lots of different people, lots of big personalities, lots of people who are kind of out there, because many of these would be either manifestors or manifesting generators. I noticed a lot of people whose charts I took a look at did have that 35 and 36 connected, just like it is this week in the transits. And so that would make them, that connection to the solar plexus or any motor would make them immediately either a manifesting generator or manifester. So a lot of these people are in fact that. Another one I found is Rafael Nadal, who actually is a manifester. So today we're going to be talking about Russell Brand, who is, who you may know as an actor, award-winning comedian, actor, author, public thought leader now, and an activist for both mental health and drug rehabilitation. He was born on June 4th, 1975 in Grays, England. He's a manifesting generator with a 2-4 profile and the right angle cross of consciousness. And so if you don't know of him, he is one of these larger than life figures, right? He's out there. He's verbose. He's got usually a lot going on. He's out and about with a lot of very interesting people. He's been in films, and when he was a comedian, he made a number of DVDs as a result of them, did a lot of live shows, and was able to get quite a following. He's quite famous now on, quite well regarded or watched on YouTube and in his podcasts with millions and millions of followers. And he's got the chart to get all that done. 3, 4, 5 defined centers. So that's, about normal. But he's got the Ajna connected to the throat with this channel of curiosity, which is not surprising, right? He's got the 2034, which is the archetypical configuration for a manifesting generator. And he's got it both conscious and unconscious, because it appears in both his the conscious nodes and the design nodes. And so same thing with the 21, gate 21 to the 45, which creates another channel. That's the channel of the money line. The channel 2034, as you probably remember, is the channel of charisma. And then he's also got this channel of 3536, which is transitoriness and change. And so it makes him very good at a lot of things that he does. Also makes him good in a crisis with the gate 36. But you put them together, and it's somebody who is here to create change in the world. And so, he's only so he'll be turning 46 this week. So he's still got, quite a bit of life to live, right? And he can get it done because he is a manifesting generator. He is remarried now. He was married to Katy Perry for a few years, and now he's remarried to a different woman, Lauren, I believe is her name, and they have a child. And he is going out doing live events again and specials and things like that. So, but his what he's become really involved in is the drug rehab and mental health causes, basically, in England, but also, as you know, all over the world because of who he is and what he does. So he's got this channel of curiosity here. He's also got the 17, which is opinions, because he does have a lot of opinions. He's got the 13, which is the listener, and that's nice to have because it's about listening to other people. So it probably makes him a great, from what I've heard, and when I've heard him, a great interviewer. He does have the open G, so he seems to enjoy working at home in his office with his little studio there. And so it's the kind of thing that the G would enjoy. When they find a place that they really love, they can stay there for a long time. He does have that emotional solar plexus defined, which puts him, it's just defined by one channel. So he does have the 3536. It is a collective channel. So it would be about expectations more than anything else. As you may have heard, he was involved with, he did himself take drugs for a while, was thought to have mental health issues. He is bipolar. He says that often. And so he has an interest in that. Now, and he does have the gate of shock, which is not so shocking, right? This 4521 is called the money line, the channel here. 21 is all about control. It's also called the treasurer. And then the 45 is the gate of the king. He kind of walks into the room. He's only 6'1", but he walks into the room and he's got quite a presence when he walks in. He's got the gate 9, which is focus, 53, starting things, 28, which is all about struggle. The 18, both conscious and unconscious, he's got, which is about editing and improving things. He wants to make the world better with this 18. Now, one thing I'm surprised at is that he doesn't have any of the usual sexual gates here, but he does have the gate 50, which is all about tribal values and keeping the values of the culture. He's also got the gate 39 here, which is about provocation, and 41, creativity. No surprise there, right? Fantasy and creativity. So he does have the 2-4 as his profile, and he is so kind of the natural when it comes to getting out there, being heard. The 2 is the hermit, right? But the 4 is about being out there. And so he's a natural because when he's out there, he wants to be, and when he's quiet, he wants to be, right? So he can kind of go either way, and it makes him seem to be a natural at what he does, no matter what he tries. So I hope that helps understand a little bit more about Russell Brand. As the chart shows, it's an interesting chart. He does have the open spleen, and he's got the open root, so he will feel pressure from others, and the open head, so he's always taking in new ideas and concepts. So have a wonderful week. I hope that you are up for some changes. There might be changes, there might be some emotions going on because of the emotional solar plexus being defined all week, and people might still be relatively rigid in their opinions. So hopefully, well, we still have a few more weeks of that, but also Mercury retrograde will be going direct. So enjoy your week, and I will see you next time. Take care.